The Chargers have officially released Mike Williams, but there is a report that they still want to have Mike Williams on this team. This is the most interesting part about the news today, is because Mike Williams had a huge cap hit on this team. It was going to be $32 million. And obviously we know he's 30 years old. He's coming off that ACL injury. There were talks about trading him potentially. Even yesterday, a team that came up was the Patriots, and that could still happen in free agency. We'll get to that. But now Mike Williams is on the free agent market, and the Chargers are expressing interest to bring him back on obviously a lower money deal than the 32 freaking million that he would be getting. And the reason why I think the Chargers want to bring him back is because he was a very good jump ball receiver, one of the best jump ball receivers in the NFL. And if you look at what Greg Roman does on offense, he does take deep shots at times along the sideline, and having a big-bodied receiver like that, it is valuable in the NFL, and it is valuable in a Greg Roman offense, in a Jim Harbaugh offense. I mean, Jim Harbaugh, didn't he have big wide receivers in San Francisco like Anquan Boldin and even Michael Crabtree? In the first few years with Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, they had a big-bodied receiver with Michael Crabtree, and then in 2013, they were able to get Anquan Boldin. And so those were two big-bodied receivers that Jim Harbaugh had, and I think Mike Williams, he could have a place in this offense. We'll see what happens in free agency, because it's up to Mike Williams on whether or not he wants to come back to the Chargers or he wants to go and test free agency, because there were a number of teams that would probably be interested in him. I know the Patriots were interested, but we still have to wait and see what's going on with the Calvin Ridley situation, because the Patriots are still holding out hope for Calvin Ridley, but the Jaguars, they're remaining optimistic that he is going to sign with Jacksonville. And I think that is going to probably be the biggest team to watch out for Mike Williams. Also, other teams to look out for. I mean, really, almost any team could potentially sign this guy, because Mike Williams, what if he goes on a cheap one-year prove-it-deal contract to a team like the Packers? Another team to look out for that I think had trade interest in him is the New York Jets, because they have Aaron Rodgers, and you want to give Aaron Rodgers a big jump ball guy, especially opposite of a really good receiver like Garrett Wilson. He's a very good route runner, has that same kind of skill set that Keenan Allen has. But let's talk about the situation that the Chargers are in right now, because we're still going to have to make some more moves, because we are still $7 million over the cap right now with the cut of Mike Williams. We're actually closer to $8 million over the cap, and that's because we have signed guys like Will Dissly. We have Alohi Gilman coming back. We just signed Gus Edwards as well. I'm going to have a whole video about him coming out soon this week. I'm also going to be live on Bleacher Report tomorrow at 11 a.m. LA time, so make sure to tune in, because I'm expecting to see even more news, and hopefully it's going to happen today rather than tomorrow. But we're still looking at guys like Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. I think if the Chargers want to get under the cap, they really don't need to make any more trades here, man, because we're only $8 million over the cap. We've got like a couple hours to go here, but if you restructure, or rather if you extend Keenan Allen, then I think you could save almost all of that $8 million in cap space. But let's say that you can't save all of that, you save like 5 or 6 mil to the cap this year, so we're still, let's just say, $3 million over the cap. You can restructure Joey Bosa. That saves $10 million, and then we also have to pay the draft class. So you can restructure Justin Herbert as well. If you cut or trade Khalil Mack, a Khalil Mack trade could still happen. A trade for Joey Bosa, I think, is a lot less likely. We could be in a situation where Mike Williams does come back on this team after re-signing with us in free agency to a much cheaper deal, and we retain on their contracts right now Khalil Mack, and then Keenan Allen on an extension, and Joey Bosa just being restructured. Because I've been saying for a while now, if you cut Joey Bosa, that only saves you an extra $4 million. And no team is going to trade for him at this point. It would be more likely for them to just flat out cut him than trade him. And I think also when you look at the edge players in free agency, maybe the Chargers are looking at these guys at the edge position in free agency, and they're saying, like, I don't think that I can get a very good edge player out there, and I don't have a ton of money to spend. I'd rather keep the guys on this team right now, even if I'm hamstrung by the cap for just this one season. I have two guys, one of them that I know is an elite edge rusher, and then the other guy that I think could potentially get back to that form where he showed how good of an edge rusher he was in Joey Bosa. I'm going to hedge my bets on these two guys, and I'm going to keep as much talent on this team as possible. Even with this report that the Chargers want to keep Mike Williams, it just goes to show they are trying to keep as much talent on this team as possible. I think with that report coming out, that Joe Hortiz wanted, and he was trying to find a way to keep all four of these guys. That's probably why it came all the way down to the wire right here. At this point, it is most likely all of these guys stay on this team. Mike Williams, he's going to test free agency. It's up in the air whether he's coming back. And now, as I am recording this video, Khalil Mack is going to remain a Charger. He just agreed to a salary cap space saving move in a contract restructure. So I think since he already restructured like last year or maybe 2 years ago, this is probably a max restructure, and it is going to add years onto his contract. I would expect them to do the same with Keenan Allen to free up even more space, but now we don't have to talk about a Khalil Mack trade at all to the Falcons or to the Rams or to whoever. What we need to look at is Joey Bosa, and I think that Joey Bosa contract gets restructured. We can still keep Mike Williams on this team by signing him in free agency, because now with Khalil Mack contract restructured, Joey Bosa getting his contract restructured, and that Mike Williams big $32 million cap hit off the books, we're saving $20 million just by cutting Mike Williams. I think this team is going to have enough space not only to pay the draft class and pay some of the free agents that we already signed, but maybe even re-sign Mike Williams in free agency, and also have some other depth signings that we need to see as well, like specifically a linebacker. We need some interior offensive line help. I think Joe Hortiz was really trying to keep every single one of these guys on this team for as long as he possibly could, and that's probably why we didn't see any trades. Maybe he waited too long because he wanted to keep all of these guys on his team for trying to find every single way that he could possibly do it. Now it seems that he is able to keep three of those guys with Keenan Allen and Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Probably every single one of those guys is going to get their contract reworked in some kind of way, either an extension, which is what I'm expecting to see with Khalil Mack with that restructure, probably a max restructure, adding some years, extending Keenan Allen, adding years to his contract in order to lessen the blow of their cap hit for this season. And then Joey Bosa, all you have to do is a simple restructure with him. You save $10 million. You don't need to add any extra years to his contract. So that is probably enough to get under the cap with all of the free agent signings that they've made so far. And also, man, this is just a really, really crazy cap situation that Joe Hortiz was put in. And he might be able to get away from it with every single one of these players on this team still. Mike Williams is the only one that is currently off this team, and you look at the free agent market, there are a lot of wide receivers still available. Already talked about Calvin Ridley with the Patriots, but Mike Williams, he certainly could come back. I don't think he would command a ton of money, probably looking closer to like a $7 million deal. The Chargers might be able to do that because, like I said, he still could be a useful piece in this offense, and it would free up the ability to do whatever you want in the draft at number 5 overall, because then you would still have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. We just drafted Quentin Johnston. We have Josh Palmer on this team. We have wide receivers with potential. And you talk about not wanting to pigeonhole yourself into drafting a certain position. Keeping Mike Williams, re-signing him onto this team on a cheaper deal, it would really open up the things that you can do in the first round, and then you would have the ability to draft whoever you want. A guy like Brock Bowers, anybody on the offensive line, like probably Joe Alt, and then if the best player available is still a wide receiver, it's not going to stop you from taking a wide receiver. But also, I am giving away a PS5. All you have to do is click on the sign up link in the description and create an Underdog account using my promo code McLane, that is MACLANE, and deposit at least $10. You will get $100 of your deposit matched back, but you only need to deposit at least $10 in order for me to see you on my end and enter you into the PS5 giveaway. Here it is. I'm not lying. I am giving it away. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see what happens soon. Mike Williams being cut, we all expected that. But if you didn't see this video right here, I would suggest you check this out.